So this video is going to be my labor and delivery story of my second child, who is this little munchkin right here. And we are in a different location, as you can see. I'm just trying out different places to film because I don't really know what's the best background in my house. Okay, so with little Aaron here, I went into labor at 39 weeks and 1 day pregnant. The day before I had him, which was the 28th of January, on the 27th, we went to go to the cemetery, which I know sounds odd, but my grandma passed away December 1st. She was really close to me. She was like my mother. Anyway, we went to the cemetery to see her plot because they had just put down the thing, you know, with the name and whatever. So we wanted to just visit, and it was about an hour away from our house at the time. This is when we were still living in California. So we went to the cemetery, and that morning I had gone to my mother-in-law's house, and we had eaten chilaquiles, which is a Mexican kind of breakfast. It's like fried tortillas, and it's delicious. My mother-in-law made it for me, and it was really spicy, and my mother-in-law told me that should kickstart me into labor, and I was like, yeah, maybe. I'm never having this baby. I was convinced that I was just never going to give birth. I felt like I was going to be pregnant forever. So we went to the cemetery after I went to eat breakfast with my mother-in-law, and I started having kind of contractions. I mean, I had been having Braxton Hicks contractions for like weeks, so I really was just ignoring it. Luckily my husband had that day off, so I was like, well, you know, maybe it's something, maybe it's not, but let's just go visit my grandma at the cemetery, and then we'll go eat some dinner, and that'll be it. So we went about an hour away to the cemetery, and on our way back, I was having contractions, but nothing serious. I even drove, I was fine. So we went to our favorite Japanese restaurant, ate a ton, and then I went home. We all went home, and when I say we all, me, my husband, my son William, and my grandfather, who we live with. He was recently widowed by my grandma's death, so we moved in with him. Anyway, TMI. So, when we got home, I told my husband, you know, I need to do laundry, I need to clean. I was like on a rampage with cleaning. And so we decided we were going to just kind of chill out that day, in the nighttime, whatever. So, chill out, I say. Everyone else was chilling out, and I was going crazy. And I was like, you know what, I have not packed my hospital bag. I need to pack my hospital bag, because I am 39 weeks pregnant. Let's get serious here. I'm eventually going to have this baby. So, I went and I got all the stuff from my hospital bag, and I went and I put it all in there, and I literally had just finished my hospital bag. I was like, cool, that's done, don't have to worry about that. And then I went to the toilet, TMI. I had to pee. So I sat down, and I heard or felt, or I can't even describe it, but it was like popcorn, like really loud pop, like someone popped a water balloon. And I was like, what is that? And then I peed, and then the pee wouldn't stop. So I figured that my water had broken, which was very weird because my first baby never happened. It didn't happen until actually I was about to push him out, and they broke my water because it hadn't broken yet. So, so that was weird for me. I called my husband in the bathroom, and he was like, no, that's not happening. This is crazy. So I talked to my grandpa, who's a doctor, and he was like, just go to the hospital. I'm sure you'll be going way faster than your last one, because I had kind of thought, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't go because I don't really want to be laboring at the hospital for 2 days like last time. It was really a day, I'm exaggerating, but whatever. So we went to the hospital. It was like, this is like 8 o'clock at night. My water broke at like 7:45. And at 8 o'clock at night, we decided we were going to the hospital, so we called my mother-in-law. We were going to drop off my son there. I hadn't had any contractions, like real contractions or anything. Literally, my water just broke and I was leaking like crazy. So I slept on about 3 pads, TMI, and we went into the car and drove the half hour to my mother-in-law's house and then the 10 minutes to the hospital. Within that 40 minutes, I had 2 to 3 really crazy, hard contractions, and it really kind of whipped me into shape. I was like, oh yeah, that's what labor is. Contraction, contraction, contraction in the car. And I was like, okay, maybe this really is happening. I was just in such shock because I was 39 weeks pregnant. I wasn't 40 weeks pregnant like my other one. Oh, you want to be in the video? I'm talking about you. Okay, so we went to the hospital, we got there, we went in through the emergency room. I was leaking all over the place. Thank God I had like 8 pads on, but it still wasn't enough. I don't know if you've ever had your water break. Apparently it just doesn't ever stop. So, which was a new experience for me. I felt like it was just very weird. So the lady checked me, the nurse, we get into the labor and delivery. I'm getting ahead of myself. We get into labor and delivery, she checks me, and I'm expecting, because of my last experience, that they were going to be like, you're 1 centimeter. She checked me, and miraculously I was at a 4.5, which was just like, I had climbed Mount Everest. Like, you could have given me a trophy right then and there. I would have been so happy because I was 4.5 centimeters, which some people would be like, that's not even halfway there. To me, that was like, hell yes. I only had 3 contractions and I'm 4.5 centimeters. So I was really happy. So at this point, they were like, well, your water's broken, so we don't have to worry about not wanting to admit you. We definitely want to admit you. So at about 9:30ish, we got into our room. It was very weird. I was so calm. I was just like, okay, we're having a baby. Like, this is happening. Me and my husband just couldn't believe it, to be honest. So we got into the room, we did my IV. I had like 10 more contractions within the next hour, hour and a half. They checked me again, and I was 6 centimeters, and I was moving into like a transition. My contractions got really crazy, horrible. And I was really trying to not have an epidural, but because I had an epidural with me first, I was thinking, I'm not going to kill myself, like, trying not to have it, because I know that it helped me a lot. And nothing bad happened to my son, so I'm not going to, like, torture myself. So I told the nurse I wanted my epidural because I was felt like someone was sledgehammering me. It was pretty bad. The pain was really bad. Like a 11 on the scale of 1 to 10. And so I got my epidural, but this epidural was different. It was not the same as my last epidural. I don't know if it was the anesthesiologist, if he didn't place it right, if he didn't use the right amount of medication, but my left leg was numb, like you could stick a knife in me and I wouldn't have even noticed, and my right leg, I could feel it. So it was, or maybe it was the opposite. Yeah, I could feel my left side, not my right. So how that translated into my contractions and my pain, I felt nothing. I was dead. I couldn't even move my own leg when they came in to like roll me over and change me like an old person, because I had my water was literally just coming out. And the nurse told me, yeah, it just keeps doing that because your body keeps producing the amniotic fluid until you give birth, basically. Like, you're going to be leaking like that for a long time. So I was. So they kept turning me to change the pad underneath me because I was like an invalid because I couldn't move my leg. Like, literally could not move my right leg. So, which was fine because who needs to move? But the thing that was a problem was after an hour and a half, probably at about 4 in the morning, I started having these hard contractions, like the hardest, craziest pain, but it was not felt all over my body. It was just in this like upper left quadrant of my stomach, and it was like horrible. But anything was better than having all the pain, so I couldn't complain, but I was just floored by that. It was really intense, and I was just like having a panic attack about it. Granted, in 1 hour after that, they checked me. They said they don't like to check too much because my water broken, they want to instill bacteria, whatever. But the doctor finally came in, checked me, and was like, oh, you're 10 centimeters. And I was like, That was so fast. I got admitted at like 9:30, and by 4:30 they were telling me that 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I don't remember. 4:30. They were telling me that I was fully dilated, so that was great for me. Except they said that he was still pretty high up in my pelvis, so I was kind of confused by that. I guess he just didn't. Well, the doctor said that on subsequent births, the baby just doesn't drop down until you're literally about to push them out. So he had not dropped down, and I was kind of worried about that. And I was talking to my husband. I was like, I'm kind of worried. What if they make me have a C-section because he won't come down? Maybe he's in a weird position. I got kind of freaked out. So the nurse came in and told me that he was having some variable D cells, which means his heart rate was like going down during contractions. So they came in, and this kind of freaked us out. Put me on my side, gave me oxygen, and I kind of had a moment where I was like, God, what if I have a C-section? Like, what if there's something wrong with the baby? It kind of freaked us out. But luckily within like 10-15 minutes, they came back in. They were like, okay, you're doing all right. It helped to turn you on your side and give you the oxygen. Everything is good. The baby seems fine. Let's check and see if he's there, if he's ready to come out. And I was like, well, I feel a lot of pressure, so I'm pretty sure he's ready to come out. He tricked me, and it turned out that yes, he was ready to come out. Now, my epidural this time was like messed up, like I said, so I could definitely feel almost everything down there. So that was new, because last time my epidural was completely numb from the waist down. I just felt pressure. But this time I could literally feel everything, which was fine. Honestly, I wasn't scared of that part. I was more scared of the contractions than I was of feeling him come out, which is sort of weird. People probably think I'm weird for that. But I really have never ever been afraid to push a baby out of me. I've always been afraid of the contractions, because I know what the contractions feel like. Anyway, so they said, okay, you're ready to start pushing. The doctor came in, they grabbed a leg, you know, the usual when you have a baby. And I pushed for about the same amount of time as I pushed with my first. They did not give me an episiotomy. He said I tore like this much, tiny bit. The doctor was really great, really patient. When his head came out, he had the cord wrapped around very tightly around his neck. And later they said that was probably why he was having the D cells for his heart rate. But the doctor had to cut the cord actually while he was still coming out of me. So he hadn't come completely out. They actually cut the cord, and he actually took his first breath when he was still in there. He took his first breath when he came out, because they cut his cord. When you cut a baby's cord, that's when they start breathing. So he screamed, and I was like, because I knew his head was out. And I told the doctor, I was like, is he okay? Because I saw them like kind of all get that look on their face. My husband said that he was like, the cord was like really tight around his neck twice, I guess. So they had to cut it, whatever. I was kind of freaked out just by people's faces, and I could feel what was going on. Like I said, my epidural was not right. I could literally, I feel like I could feel the hairs on his head. Like I could feel it that much. So that was a new experience for me, and I actually prefer it that way. I know people are probably going to be like, well, wouldn't you rather just be numb? I actually like I don't like it, but I thought it was really like a different experience. I felt more connected to the experience because I could feel it. So I was actually happy with that. So I pushed him out. They cut his cord early. He cried a little bit. I just kept freaking out because of the whole heart rate thing. I kept going, is he okay? Is he okay? And he was fine. And he was birthed, and he was fine, and my husband got to cut the rest of his cord off, and it was great. And it was actually a really good birth experience, because my labor was from like 8 o'clock at night to 5 in the morning when he was born, and I had a baby all day. It was different. I loved this birth experience. To me, it was obviously better than my last. I had a like 24-hour labor. My labor was slow. Last time I hadn't slept for 2 days. he was so just unexpected. We did not expect to have a baby the next morning after going to eat some Japanese food. I'll tell you what. We were not ready. We were ready like, oh, we have all our stuff, but like we were just mentally not prepared to have a baby at that moment. But we did, and little Aaron came out. It was different. It was special to me because we went and we saw my grandma at the cemetery. We obviously didn't see her. We saw her grave. And she was like my mother. I was very close to my grandmother. So we actually named Erin Patrick because her name was Patricia. So that was really special to me that we saw her that day, and it was like we got to visit her before I gave birth. I don't know. A little bit weird. So yeah, that's my birth story with my little sneaky noodle right here. So yeah, thanks for sticking it out with me all probably 15 minutes of this really long video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Say bye!